Good morning, guys and girls. So I was working with a client yesterday at this same coffee shop. We had a really good 4-hour session. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today that I was helping my client James with, and this is something that all of you will need to do if you want to improve your life and build your confidence, and clue is in the title, is facing things that trigger you. And obviously we've all got things that trigger us, myself included. Now obviously this isn't easy. I sat down with my client and we went over in detail some of the triggers. So for example, it could be one of many things: going to the gym. A lot of people put many things off: the gym, work, diet, training, especially socializing, traveling. These are all the areas in where anxiety can show up for people. And obviously, the reason why people avoid these things, because it doesn't feel nice when you're triggered. I don't think anyone, well, actually depends on the mindset that you're in, but generally speaking, in the normal sort of human state that we're all in, nobody likes to feel triggered with high levels of anxiety and intrusive thoughts and uncomfortable emotions and feeling frightened, feeling uncertain, feeling under immense amounts of stress. No one likes that feeling. But what I learned years ago in my journey, you have to face that feeling if you want to keep moving forward in life. Whatever you want to do, if you want to improve your diet, or you want to get more confident with people, you want to get a job. And to be honest, these are things that we've got to do anyway on a day-to-day basis. So there's triggers that we're facing every day. Sometimes we don't realize it, but there are certain areas in our life that would bring us a lot of joy and a lot of confidence eventually, and you would grow in confidence by facing them. And I'm gonna go through that once I get this coffee in me and wake up a bit. So hopefully we'll get some questions in as well. This is also part of the Daily Discipline live stream community to help people to build confidence. Anybody, especially people that suffer with an anxiety disorder or anxiety. Hold on, sorry, I'm just trying to get the balance right. Okay. This coffee's great. So I thought about that the other day when I was running. I'm going to make a YouTube video about it. A lot of the time, it's not the actual thing that people fear doing. In most cases, it's what that thing triggers. So for example, like my client was saying, he, things like going to the gym, it triggered him, triggers a lot of people. Things like meeting people, social anxiety is a big trigger. It's not really actually the thing, it's what it triggers. And the fear is that it's going to trigger your anxieties, your emotions. For a lot of people, it can trigger bad memories in the past. It can trigger feelings of not being good enough. No, I'm not a lawyer. I've mentored lawyers though. So because people don't want to be reminded of those things, they avoid doing things because it brings up stuff from the past. So it's good to understand why you're scared, but it's more important to actually face the fears, like I said, because if you analyze for a long time why you're scared, then you're just going to get stuck and you're not going to move forward. So like I said, triggering areas are usually people, socializing, traveling, going to the gym, getting up early, public speaking, starting a business. It's usually practical tasks, tasks that revolve around getting out of bed, leaving the house and going and doing things. So it's really about getting used to the feelings that the situations trigger. Once you can get used to those situations, once you can get used to the anxiety and the triggers, that's when it becomes a lot easier, and that's when you start to enjoy it. That's when that change in perspective, it's almost like you're emotionally, you get used to it. So for many years, I didn't go running because running used to trigger one of my insecurities when I was younger. And one of the insecurities was I hated getting tired. You know, I found it quite humiliating, quite embarrassing. I felt like a failure, you know, at moments when I was younger. When we were running with the school, I was running at a, you know, when I went to the boxing gym. So when I'd get tired and feel quite nauseous, I'd associate that as, you know, a failing or being embarrassed, ashamed, etc. So for quite a few years as I got older, I wanted to do running, so I wanted to get fit and challenge myself, but I didn't want to get triggered until I realized, actually, I want to get triggered, I want to face this, and that's how I overcame it and actually fell in love with running. So, you know, and the problem is when people avoid triggers, I say this to clients, it just gets worse. You know, you never overcome it. And I mean this in a positive way. Most of the stuff that you're avoiding, you will enjoy it once you do it. Not all the stuff, obviously. There's things that we have to do sometimes that we don't enjoy that are triggering. You know, like paying rent, taxes, bills, you know, sometimes we've got to do a job that we don't enjoy. But generally, a lot of the things that you want to do in your life that you would enjoy, you're going to have to face those triggers and those anxieties. So public speaking, something one of my other clients really enjoys. But obviously he was afraid to do it at the start until he got used to it. It was the same for me. So it's good to get the understanding, but it's more important that you actually motivate yourself to face the triggers, because that is how you're going to get more confident. And as I said, if you put things off because you fear getting triggered and your anxiety's coming up and your, you know, bad memories, then you're not gonna grow in confidence, you're not gonna build discipline, and you're gonna stay stuck in your life. Yeah, I'm very well. How you doing? Good? I'm still waking up. A few more minutes. So yeah, it's not the actual task that frightens people, but it's what that task will trigger. Okay, I'll get you a question. Hold on a second, the traffic starts. All right, excuse me. So discipline for what though? The deeper meaning? Well, that's a good question. That depends on where you want to build discipline, but the discipline I'm talking about is the discipline to go and exercise, the discipline to get up early in the morning, the discipline to have a good attitude towards people, to do your best you can, the discipline to face your anxieties in your life. So yeah, good question. Thanks for it. Helps me to answer this question. The discipline to face your fears. That's what I'm teaching and mentoring and talking about today, and that's what I help my clients, and I help people with that, want to do that and want to improve. But I could also ask you the same question, you know, what does discipline mean to you? Because there's going to be areas in your life where I'm sure you want to build discipline, but you know, you're lacking the discipline to do it right now. But yeah, you know, discipline is so important for building confidence and facing anxiety and overcoming anxiety, and also learning what I was saying to my client yesterday. You know, you can't fully get rid of all anxiety. Everyone has some anxiety, that's normal, but it's learning to not let it debilitate you, not let it stop you from living your life and, you know, enjoying things from day to day and completing things like work, career, socializing, exercising, eating a healthy diet, you know, clean your apartment. You know, these are all simple things, like I said, but they do require a certain amount of discipline. And then we can move on to maybe more advanced disciplines like running a marathon or starting a business. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for the question. Are you new to the channel? You can subscribe if you want to learn more. I like it when people ask me intelligent questions. If you've got any more questions, anyone, ask me and I'll try and answer them. That's what the streams are for. So So you know, when people often, it's very common now, it's all over the internet, people talk about, oh, I procrastination. Well, yeah, procrastination is an avoidance of anxiety triggers. That's the reason why people procrastinate. Pretty amazing stories that I hear from clients when I work with them. I always appreciate when they open up and they explain in detail what the trigger brings up, and usually it's always something from school or something from childhood, something where someone got judged or shamed or felt embarrassed. Same for all of us, same for me. So yeah, the origin is interesting, hearing people's stories, quite heartwarming. But again, the best thing to do in the long run is to move forward and face those triggers and to get proof that they're not true, because people's anxiety triggers are usually around not feeling good enough, feeling ashamed, or being afraid to fail, or being afraid to succeed, believing that they're not strong enough, that they can't cope. No, I don't think I am. I don't think I am. You never know. It might be it's on my ancestry. I'm Irish descent and English. So basically, another good way, well, it's part of building confidence anyway, you know, is to prove these things wrong. Like a lot of my clients will say when they were younger, someone bullied them at school, or one of the school teachers put them down, and I experienced that too. So when you face these triggers consistently, you will get proof that what they said to you is not true. So if someone called you stupid growing up, I think we've all had that, or someone said that you weren't smart, that's not true. But if you avoid your fears in that area, then you're going to believe that, you're going to act on that, and that's going to affect your life. Lav says, I procrastinate and then I drink and it gets bad from there. Waste my day and then get nothing done every day. Yeah. So again, obviously, yeah, the drinking is a coping mechanism, you know, which I understand, to avoid the pain. So obviously it's not easy, I can imagine, but you can do it, and it's deciding to break that pattern. And this is one of the things that I help clients with, to break those patterns where they're stuck, where they're addicted, so they can move forward and build more positive habits. So it's all these things, you know, building a positive habit, breaking negative patterns of procrastination, addiction. This is all part of facing your anxiety triggers, and then, you know, gaining confidence and getting past those habits of fear and anxiety or addiction. Pretty much all the same. You know, I mentor a lot of people, and I know a lot of people do this. A lot of people avoid groups of people. They avoid public places. I used to do the same. I couldn't do this years ago. If some of you know my story, now I'm confident, relaxed. It's easy for me. But I'm 40 now, let's say 15 years ago, I couldn't go to a coffee shop on my own. I was too anxious. I could not speak loud now. I couldn't go and interact. Like, let's say I could go to a coffee shop, but I couldn't relax, I couldn't sit down. If I went and ordered a coffee, I'd be like, yeah, can I get a coffee? I'd get the coffee and I'd anxiously leave. Like, I couldn't have a conversation with people because I was too nervous, and I was too afraid of, once I got triggered, I didn't hang in there. Well, not obvious to some, but I practiced for years, and that's how I gained confidence and started teaching other people, by facing those triggers. And my triggers again were, you know, same as all of yours really, same as my clients. They were around embarrassment, shame, insecurity, worrying about what other people thought, being afraid of my own emotions. So I started to realize that these were the things I had to face, and through doing that I got stronger and started to help other people. So you can do the same. All right, Timmy, good to see you, mate. Good morning. So you get stronger over time, you get used to it. It's like training, you know, when you first do a training routine, it's very difficult at the start, and it feels like you ain't strong enough. But if you do it for 6 weeks, it gets easy, you get comfortable, you're able to do it, you're fit and strong enough. And it's the same way with anxiety, with facing the triggers. At the start it's difficult, but you get used to it. Good to see you, Ben, from Australia. Let's get this question going. Sorry if I can't pronounce your name. Some of the names are difficult to pronounce, right? Well, I'll read your question. Yeah, I can relate to that, but unfortunately, when you're working a 14-hour days for 6 days a week, all I'm looking for is a beer. I can understand that. But you know, to be fair, I'm not going to give you a hard time. But there are people that do it. You know, at the end of the day, if you really wanted to, you could. So I do think that it's an excuse. I see it as I get it, I understand. It's not easy, so I'm not judging you, but I am here to do my job and help. You might not like what I'm going to say, but if it's a problem, then you can beat it. Because if everyone went by that excuse, then everyone would do that. But I understand, we've all got addictions that we battle with, but you can overcome it if you really want to, right? Well done, Ben. You know, I've got a real strong addiction to sugar, and the same approach that I give you is the gentleman that I just spoke to earlier on. Sorry there, it's gone now. Where's this comment gone? I work at improving it every day, you know, one day at a time, and that's all we can do. So I'm not saying here to be perfect. No one is, but you can get better. You know, you can face these things. So have a think about that. That would help you a lot. It's helped me to help myself and other people. It's not necessarily what you think you fear may not be the situation or the thing, but you fear what it's going to trigger. So a lot of people, like most people actually can do public speaking. As a matter of fact, everyone can do public speaking, but a lot of people won't do public speaking because they're scared of what it's going to trigger. And what it's going to trigger is some sort of anxiety that is personal to them. That could be the fear of what people are going to think. That could be the fear of being embarrassed in front of people. It could be the fear of not feeling attractive enough. It could be the fear of feeling that they're ashamed. Whatever the case may be. So it's not really the public speaking that you're scared of. It's what it is going to make you feel. So now you understand that, you're more equipped to go and face it and overcome that fear, make progress. That's always true, Ben. That's definitely true. So a good exercise to do that you can do, probably most of you won't do it, but some of you will, that's fine, is write down the things in your life that you want to do, but you're afraid to do. The things that you're procrastinating on, whatever those things are, you're going to know what they are, right? And write them down, and then set yourself a goal to start to face them on a day-to-day basis until you face all the things. Let me make a point of saying something. Success with building confidence and anxiety is not about succeeding all the time. That's not success. I mean, it can be, but success is having the courage to face it. So if I've got a client that's scared to do public speaking, you know, in case they fail or get shy or get embarrassed, I would say go and do it. And if that happens, that's still success, you know, because they had the courage to go and do it. Whereas anyone can just say, well, I'm scared, I'm not going to do it. You know, there's no success in that. You're not doing anything. So the success is the courage to go and do it. Now, of course, it's going to be a bit disappointing if the talk doesn't go well, but you'll still be pleased that you did it. And then you can go and do it as many times anyway later on. So if you mess up a talk, who cares? Because you can just go and do a public talk 100 times until you get it right again. So with the triggers is the same thing. It's not like if you go and do something and you get triggered and you feel that you failed, your life's over. You just keep going. Yeah, that's true what you said, Ben. Some good wisdom there that you've learned, Ben, from recovery. I like it, and you're right. I agree with you. That people should not make permanent decisions on temporary emotions. That's fantastic. Fantastic. I like that. So question for all of you, and question for my clients and me as well, is where are your triggers? Where are you avoiding things that you could be facing, where you could be growing more as a person, improving more, getting more discipline, confidence, discipline, sobriety, gratitude, peace, kindness. All these things will come as a result of facing your triggers consistently as well. And these triggers, you've got to face them consistently, right? You don't just face them once and go, well, maybe some things you do, but most things, they're seasonal, like the months and the years. You've got to keep up to scratch and face them. Otherwise, you're going to go back to square one pretty much. Yeah, you're welcome, Ben. All right, Ben, thanks for coming by. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, and good luck on your recovery. Well done for the 6 months. That's impressive. Well, hopefully it will last for you for as long as you can, forever. Maybe I'm lost here, but what's of all the anxiety and triggers? I think this country has become soft. Well, maybe you become soft. Why are you on the live stream? To be straight. That's what's with all the triggers and the anxieties, and that's probably one of your triggers now. But I can agree with you to some degree that we've become soft in ways. We have, and that's why I'm here to help people in the right way. But yeah, I agree with you in many ways. But people still need help, and you're not soft for having fear. That's a bit of an uneducated view. So I agree to some degree as a culture, but you can't deny the fact that we've all got fears. You have, I have, and we need support and help. That's not being soft, that's being intelligent. There's a difference between someone being soft where they're not trying, or they're not appreciative, or as you said, they're a bit too overly sensitive, even though having emotions is good. So I see where you're coming from. It's not easy to understand the context, as I'm not with you in person. You're commenting. But at the end of the day, the strongest of people have fears, and my job is to help people to build strength to face them. And there's times where I need support to face fears, because as you know, fear can be debilitating, certain fears. So having fear don't make you soft. If that was the case, then everyone's soft. I am, you are, Mike Tyson, your family, every heroic person in history is soft, because they all had anxiety, they all had fears. But it's not about whether you've got fears and triggers, it's about have you got the courage to face it. That's where strength comes in. So when we're talking in the context of what you're talking about, this is what I teach people, to be stronger in what I believe is a good way. So as I said, it's quite honourable for someone to say, yeah, I'm frightened, I've got anxiety here, but what am I going to do about it? I'm going to go and face it. Courage is not the absence of fear and anxiety and triggers. Courage is feeling fear and anxiety, being honest about it, but going and facing it anyway. Where a coward says, yeah, I'm afraid, I've got triggers, and they run away, they don't face it. But I like your comment, because it's triggered on what I had to say now, and whatever your reaction's going to be. But people have got triggers because they're human. It's part of the human brain, mind, to protect us from perceived threats, keep us safe. But the problem with the human mind is, as you said, it can make us soft because it overprotects, and then we don't want to leave our house, we don't want to socialize, we can't live our life, and then we get depressed, people get down, people get suicidal. Obviously people get addicted on drugs, on addictions, they isolate, they get mentally unwell because they're listening to their brain too much, which is saying don't go out, don't meet people, don't do a YouTube video. It's really, in many ways, it's cruel and it overprotects, but obviously it serves for a good reason. But I think the computer is overprotective, and in the actual reality of life, it doesn't help in many ways, it hinders. Because there's a balance, it's good to be mindful and to be aware so we can survive, but if you're over aware, if you're overly paranoid, then you can make yourself go insane, or you can't live. So the balance of courage is having some common sense. Obviously, if I'm crossing the roads, it's wise that I'm going to look both ways, because I don't want to get hit by a car and potentially get killed. But if I'm obsessed every day going out thinking, what if I get hit by a car, or what if I get killed, then I can't live my life. It's too much fear. So it's getting the fear into a healthy proportion where we can obviously be intelligent, be wise, but as you said earlier, not be to the point where we're too mentally soft, we have no courage, and we can't live our lives because we're frantically frightened every second, and we're worrying, and we can't relax and be present, and obviously that's not good. It's no way to live. But it's pretty remarkable what human beings have been able to do. Some of my clients, a lot of you people that I see online, the courage that they're able to exhibit, in spite of the fears and the anxieties and the triggers that everyone experiences. And that's where courage and grit and good character comes into play. I appreciate the prayer, Kenneth. You come on before, right? I'm sure you did that before. So if anyone's new to this live stream, or you're going to see it later on, my name's Jonathan. I'm a mentor and a teacher, and I help my clients, I help people to build confidence, discipline, courage, and to also face their fears, their anxieties, and to have a daily routine, a routine that consists of getting up early, going to the gym. No, I appreciated your question, man. Fair play to you as well, man, for being a gentleman, because I pretty much agreed with most of what you said. I was just making a point of the context, and I think you were doing the same with me as well, which is totally within your right. See, that's the thing today, people fear that, having their opinion in case someone gets upset. But, you can have your opinion, you can still respect people. We can disagree, and, because you've got to disagree. You're not going to agree with someone all the time, even your best friend, or, you're not going to agree on everything. And that's fine, but, it doesn't have to become what you see online today, which I don't get involved in, where people hate someone just because they don't agree with one thing that they said or two things that they said. Generally, what I'm saying is true, whether people agree with it or not, and that is that we've all got fears, we've all got anxieties, but there's hope. You can learn to get stronger at overcoming your fears, and that's true. That's science, and that's not just what I'm saying. That's life. That's what life taught me. So that is true. But there might be other things that I say that you won't agree on. And there's going to be some things that some of you might say that I won't agree on. When people say things like, "Oh, I work a long shift and I have to drink alcohol, I've got no choice," I'm like, well, that's not true. You have got a choice. I'm not saying it's easy, because I understand it's stressful working a 16-hour shift. Of course, I probably feel like that, but you don't have to. You can build discipline. You can face your fears, and you can do something else after a 16-hour shift. You can eat some healthy food, or you can meet with a friend, or there's many things that you can do. So I'm not gonna tolerate BS, especially if you come onto my channel, which is about helping people. But I'm not gonna, I don't walk up to people telling them that they shouldn't drink alcohol. It's none of my business. But if someone comes to me for help and is asking me how can I improve, then I'm going to tell you. And most of the time, I'm going to tell you things that you don't want to hear, areas that where probably your friends and family won't tell you. But that's my job, to be truthful and help you. But I try and do it in a respectful way and explain to people that I'm on the same level as everyone else. I'm not better than anyone, I'm not below anyone. But this is what a teacher's got to do, his job. When I work with my mentors and teachers, they told me things that I didn't want to hear either, but that's how I improved. They told me, no, you shouldn't do that, and you're going to ruin your life. I was told that growing up. If you take drugs, you're going to throw your life down the toilet. If you hang around with people that are negative, you could end up in a bad way. And I didn't always like people telling me that, but later on I appreciated it because they were right, and I took their advice. So a lot of building confidence and these sorts of things. What you said earlier, Ben, is, you know, being around people that are going to be a positive, they're going to be a positive example for you. But obviously, you've got to learn to do that for yourself. But people do that with everything, not just with drinking. They say, I haven't got time to go to the gym. It's an excuse. You have got time. You have got time because people spend hours on social media wasting time. They could use 1 hour of that time, a little bit more discipline, face that anxiety trigger and go to the gym and work out. But I've done that as well. We're all guilty of that. I've said, oh, I don't have time to do that right now. I don't have time to read that book, but I do have time. I'm making excuses, you know. So you know, we're all guilty of doing those things because of our fears. And again, I want to encourage people to get better each and every day. And I like to improve myself as well. I'm on my own journey of trying to improve myself each and every day. But it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling when you make progress, whether that's with your addiction or your confidence, or, you know, simple things, even just being grateful, waking up in the morning. Yeah, I appreciate everyone coming on the stream. I always appreciate, I always say before that, you know, all of you make up the live stream. If you don't come on the stream and get your questions and inspire one another, then I'll just be talking to myself. And sometimes I understand, you know, people don't like it when you say the word fear, anxiety, it upsets people. So, you know, sometimes I can change the language if I'm to get through to people and help them and say, look, you know, what are the things that you enjoy in your life that you want to do at the moment? And then people will say, oh, let me think about that. Oh, well, I enjoy business. Right, well, are you doing it? No, I'm not doing it. I say, why aren't you doing it? Because you enjoy it. Oh, well, I'm procrastinating, or I keep putting it off. So we might want to look at, well, why don't you just start today or tomorrow? Just do a little bit at a time. Or, you know, people might say, oh, I enjoy traveling. I had a client who said, I asked him, because he was feeling a bit down, and he said, you know, he likes traveling, meeting up with friends and going to gigs or doing music. So I said, you know, why don't you do that again? He said, yeah, you're right. I used to do it in the past. I said, well, make a note of it. Write down what you enjoy. One of my clients, as I said, he enjoyed traveling, meeting up with friends, different countries, going to gigs, doing music, and he hadn't done it for a while, and he was feeling a bit depressed, a bit sad. So I said to him, you know, get on the phone, contact your friends and do some traveling. He said he was going to do that, and a lot of clients will do that. For me, quite a few years ago, oh, thanks. Well, I didn't feel as smart this morning. Usually I do, because I feel a little bit rough, which is good, which is fine. But thanks for the compliment, I appreciate it. Good to see you as well. So today we're talking about facing anxiety triggers, also known as building discipline, having a routine. What other things have we covered? Understanding your anxiety triggers. We've all got them. There's nothing to be ashamed of. People often get angry. They get upset when you say that. You know, they feel defensive, but it's normal. Everyone's got fears and anxieties. But the positive thing is facing them, improving at them, overcoming them. And I like to use this analogy. Whenever, especially young men or men of any age, when men get upset with me and they get angry because I say, why do you talk about fear all the time, or why are you talking about facing anxiety? Well, number one is because I want to talk about it. Number two, it's because it's my job and I enjoy it, and that's my passion. My passion is talking about fears and facing them. That's how I enjoy living my life, and that's how I got into this business of helping people to do the same. But Mike Tyson is frightened as well, same as we all are. He has fears, but look what he achieved, and he says it. And I think that's great that Tyson says that, because it helps other people, men and women, but especially men, to not feel embarrassed or to feel that they're weak when they're not. So you're not weak because you have fears. But where you can be weak, I'm going to say it, it might offend some people. What can I do? I don't hope to offend anyone. How you become strong is by facing your fears consistently, and that's how you get better in life. And that can start off from as simple as getting out of bed early in the morning when you're anxious and leaving the house and having a good attitude and going to work. And it actually takes courage to admit to a fear, and then it takes even more courage to go and face it. And that's how you get a lot of confidence. And that's how you stop caring about what other people think. Because when you gain a good level of confidence, and when you've got humility, not arrogance, you don't mind if people say negative things, because you're in a good place and you don't feel that way about them, and you focus on doing positive things. And then you have positive friends anyway. You generally tend to meet people that are similar to you. So it really does balance out all of the confusion that people feel. And if people say nasty things to you, you have the character to just ignore it. Sometimes you have to stand up for yourself. There is time for that, and say whatever. But generally you could just ignore it and say, well, they're just not in a good place. They're insecure. They're going through some challenges in their life, and they're angry at the moment. And we've all been like that at times. So maybe you can have better character, just forgive them, move on. It doesn't mean it's right, their behaviour. You're not going to have Sunday dinner with them. You're not going to hang out with someone like that when they're in that place, unless they change. But you can wish them well. And sometimes, it's not always possible, but it is possible. Sometimes you can have a chat with people and say, look, let's talk about it. Why are you so angry? Why are you so hateful towards me? Why do you hate yourself? And they might open up and they might apologise. And that's a beautiful thing. I've been able to do that a few times, not always, but sometimes say, look, what's your problem? Why are you so angry? Why do you hate yourself? Why are you hating on me? I've not done anything to you. I'm just doing positive things. And they might go, oh, you know what? My life's terrible. You know, I don't feel good. Things are not going well. I've had a breakup. I don't have any money. And then you say, look, I understand that. You know, I've been there. You might be able to come to a place of friendship. That is a beautiful thing. That's not always going to be the case, but it can happen. I've had that at school, where you can disarm a bully. Kenneth. Kenneth says he lived in a small country town and got bullied all the time. I'm sorry to hear that, but you can overcome it. Kenneth's in a humorous mood, which is nice. You know what, I'm going to have to do a live stream about that. I think I've done quite a few already, but it comes up a lot, and it's the bullying is where all the problems stem on this community, and it was the same for me. I'm enjoying this live stream. This is brilliant. I don't know how all of you feel with the summer ending, well, especially here in London. I actually feel quite good, quite relieved. I do enjoy the summer. I did enjoy the heat. I did enjoy running in it. I'm a bit sad that it's over, because now I've got to do my runs in the cold. But it does feel quite a relief to have so it's cool again. Right, I'll move on to the next thing now. Consistency. Consistency is the key. Is it easy to be consistent? No, it's not. It's really challenging. It can be easy though. It can be both. It depends on you, where you're at. Being consistent with facing your anxieties, your fears, your disciplines, is really, really important. To state the obvious, why is consistency important? That's a good question. I put myself on the spot now. Well, consistency is important because it takes time to build good habits. As a lot of you know, it takes time to, to get off alcohol, to get off drugs, or to quit porn, or to get a healthy diet. It takes time to lose weight. It certainly takes time to build up social confidence. It takes time to overcome bullying. All these things take time. But it's not just, it takes time and that you just sit around. You've got to put effort in. So you've got to build that muscle. So consistently working on, your courage, basically, your mind and your body, if that makes sense. And I'll try and give an easier analogy, because I've got a tendency to go very deep, which is good sometimes, but not so good all the time. So with the gym, if you want to get in shape, you've got to be consistent. If you go to the gym once a month, you won't notice much of a change. I mean, it's better than nothing, but you'd really have to go to the gym 3 times a week, or even 4 times a week, to see results, to see, weight loss, or muscle tone, or, more fitness, more confidence, or a better mental health. And through consistency, you get stronger, you get wiser, and you enjoy it. Basically, it takes time, right? All things are consistent. When you first move to a new place, everyone is new. Everyone's, you're nervous, you don't know people, unless you move somewhere where you know. But if you move to a new place, you've got to get used to the environment, and that happens through consistency. You walk around, you get to know the shops, you get to know your neighbors, if they're friendly, and that happens over time through consistency. So consistency is important, and if you basically, the essence is, if you do something consistently, you get confident at it. So consistency, or being consistent, also can be explained through practicing. That saying, they say, which I don't actually agree on, they say practice makes perfect. But, well, no one's perfect, but I'd say practice makes you confident. So consistency is really another word for practice. Timmy's questions are brilliant. Yeah, they are. Yeah. They're nice to me. I'm lucky. My neighbours they are cordial. Love the use of language, man. Good, man. See, I didn't want to put you on the spot, Timmy. I didn't want to say make a joke, because I knew if I said that you wouldn't do it. It would create an expectation. So I just hoped in silence and in prayer that you would start the jokes. Your neighbours are cordial, Timmy. It's interesting when I do these live streams, people, well, not all the time, right? But people generally want to ask questions about me, or they want to talk about mundane things to avoid anxiety and fear. Another way of escaping I've seen over the years, a human pattern that we've all done, which I'm making some fun of, some humor in it. We avoid it because we don't want to talk about our fears, because we don't want to face them. But if we want to change our life, we've got to, at some point, talk about our fears. Not forever, unless you're me, because it's an obsession, but you've got to face it, otherwise your life's not going to change. Yes, thankfully, they are similar to heritage. Oh, that's good, Timmy, thank God for that. Yep, listen, anyone who got bullied at school, I got bullied at school as well, so I have a lot of compassion for you. I relate to it, and I think I haven't met anybody, well, there may be a few, but most people that I've met, even, you know, quote unquote really tough people, got bullied at school. But listen, you can overcome it by facing your fears and your anxiety triggers. It's not nice though, but I'm not going to dwell too much on the problem because it's too early. I want to enjoy the day. I've spoken about the effects of bullying a lot on this channel and sharing my story, so I want to focus on the solution. Well, you still have me engaged and I'm listening, Jonathan. I don't think you'll change my mindset, but good to hear different perspectives. Well, that's good. I appreciate that. I like your attitude, you know, because the fact is, as you said, even the fact that we had I don't think it was a big disagreement, but whatever we had earlier on, and we're still in a good place. That's good character, great character on your part and on my part. So I also appreciate you being on the stream. And you made a good point. I'm not going to change your perspective in a live stream. It takes a bit more time, and obviously I'm not going to force my perspective on you. That's your own freedom and choice. That's a good question. Zach Williams, the producer, says, how do you get better when you're frozen in trauma? Well, you face your fears. I mean that kindly. I'm not saying it's easy, but that's how you do it. If you're frozen in trauma, the only way you're going to get unfrozen is by facing your fears consistently, intelligently, you know, not burning yourself out, not beating yourself into the ground, but, you know, exercising some of that courage muscles. Courage is free. Courage is free, but the bad news is you can't go on Amazon and say, I want to buy a box of courage. You can't go into Tesco's and say, sorry, my coffee's kicked in, I want to buy a box of courage. But you can hire me, Jonathan, and I will help you to build that courage with help, with love, with support, with friendship, and some cappuccino. But no, seriously, to answer your question, that's a big part of how you do it. You also do it by therapy, or getting a mentor like myself, someone who has experience, someone who is human, who is vulnerable like you are, but lives what they teach, who's made progress in their life. Or you find a community, Zach, like this one, and you take one step each time. You also go to the gym. Exercising helps young men of all ages and women to improve trauma, no question of a doubt. Is it easy to do? No, it's not. I'm not going to lie to people. It's not an easy thing to do. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. But it's not always going to be difficult. It depends on how much effort you put in. But if we just say for the rest of our life, I'm traumatized, I've got fear, I've got anxiety, then nothing's going to change, unfortunately. And a lot of people do that, and that always makes me sad. And I've done that in my life, so I know what happens. But at some point, you deserve to get the help you need, and you deserve to make progress. And I'm doing the best I possibly can to help people to do that. And on this live stream today, by telling you the truth to my experience and knowledge and the steps and the mindset, and basically giving you the encouragement and the mentorship. But I can't do it all for you, Zach, or any of you. You've got to, you guys and girls have got to put your effort in as well. Same when I went to the boxing gym. You know, I was traumatized too. I was anxious, but I wanted to improve. I wanted to change my life. I didn't want to live in depression anymore. So I told the trainers that I'm scared, I want to improve. I got bullied at school. I'm quite a shy person, but I want to box. I want to learn to fight, you know, so I can stand up to bullying. I want to have confidence in myself. I want to get fit. I want to be part of this community. And they said, sure, but you're going to have to show up every week. And, you know, my trainer basically said to me, sorry, my language, but, you know, don't fucking waste my time. And I said, I'm not going to waste your time. So I respected my elders. And, you know, I had to work my arse off. It wasn't easy. It was terrifying at times, but it was worth it. It changed my life. It gave me confidence. It gave me character, self-respect, self-esteem. Truth be known, I wouldn't be able to do this live stream today if I didn't go and join the local amateur boxing club all those years ago, right? Not saying that I'm old, but those years ago. So I had to put the effort in, and I had to play my part, because they couldn't, no one can do everything for you. So you overcome trauma by getting the help and support you need, because we all need help and support, and that's a good thing, but by also making an effort yourself. To a certain degree, there's a lot of truth in what you said. No one cares about your traumas and fears. I mean, I'd say the only people that care is your family, and some people will say their family don't care, but I believe they do. I believe that your family who love you, they care. Your close friends, but generally people don't care. The reason they don't care is because they've got their own problems, they got their own traumas. And sometimes we say that, and that's not entirely true, but to a certain degree, yeah, they don't care, they don't know you. So you've got to care about yourself, and I obviously care. Obviously, I don't know every single person, but I wouldn't, I go through a lot of pain myself to help other people, but I enjoy it, and it's something that I've always enjoyed doing. So it's not that everyone don't care, but you are right in what you're saying. Most people don't care, but that's something that you have to come to terms with and accept. And but yeah, it's a good point what you mentioned. I can't really disagree on it. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people are lazy, but there are a lot of people that are not, and we are trying to change that. But you know what, right? Laziness is fear. It is. People often don't realize that, and they say that laziness is anxiety and fear. It's in disguise. Yep, instant gratification. I'd say that's one of the most violent addictions, alongside with negative thinking. Good point. But I remember that though when I was younger. I was family members would put me down and say that I was lazy, because I wasn't going out looking for a job. But I remember one day that I said, well, I'm not lazy, I'm terrified. I want to work, but I've got this paralyzing anxiety and I can't be around people. So it's trying to have more compassion, but there is a balance of having compassion, and it's that fine balance which isn't always easy to get with people. And we all struggle with that. Where do we draw the line with having compassion for people, which I do? I try to raise more awareness, especially for compassion for men with mental health problems and anxiety. But there's a line where you want to encourage people to take some responsibility, whether that's getting the help they need and putting in some effort themselves if they're able to do that. I think that was a big turning point for me when I realized that I actually wasn't lazy. I was frightened, I was hardworking, and once I was able to understand that, I was able to overcome that fear and prove to myself and then help other people that I wasn't a lazy person. I was extremely hardworking, and I'm confident all of you are. Every client pretty much that I've ever met, comes from a family of hardworking people, and they're hardworking, but they've at a certain point they've got fears and anxieties, and those fears and those anxieties disguise themselves in the label of lazy, procrastination, always putting things off. If people didn't have any fears, they wouldn't do these things. Laziness, being overweight, these are a symptom of fear and anxiety and trauma. Zach Williams says some people don't understand how deep trauma goes. You're right. Many people don't, but many people do. But yeah, you're right. Balanced view. It can replace your true self and make you forget who you are. It's not easy to understand what's happening and overcome. But I think sometimes, Zach, people get too stuck on trying to discover the depths of who they are, and having trauma as an identity. So balance again. If you constantly not accepting that people don't understand your trauma. I've done this too. I'm trying to help you, Zach, right? Want to find a solution, not a problem. We know what the problem is, and you know what the problem is, and I understand your problem to a large degree, but the solution's important. What are you going to do about it? Because if we just sit around and go, I've got a trauma and no one understands it, and I don't know who I am, and I'm trying to find, then we could live there forever and die there, and I'm sure we don't want that. So there's certain things that none of us fully understand, and we're never going to understand, and that's accepting that we don't need to. What we need to do is live our lives to the best that we can, move forward. If you get to a good place, you won't care. Why would you care? If you build your confidence up, this is for anyone, not just Zach, you won't care about people trying to punish you, because you won't let them do that. You won't care about people having to understand your trauma, because you're going to make progress and overcome it, or accept the trauma and build confidence. So confidence is the key, and discipline, and support, and having good friends around you, and gratitude. But I think that people sometimes have got to go through feeling what they're going to feel. I don't follow all that stuff. I don't have an opinion on it. I don't follow it. I just teach what I teach, follow what I do. All that stuff, can't answer that question. Don't know anything about it. I haven't got an opinion on it, to be honest. But this is a big trap that people fall into. I fell into this trap where their whole life becomes trauma. Knowing who I am, or people don't understand me, or I'm traumatized. And you want to be careful of that, because yes, we're all traumatized to a certain degree, but what are you going to do about it? Live a great life, you know, otherwise you're just going to stay stuck in pain forever, and you're not going to change it. You're going to add to the pain. So don't re-traumatize yourself. You know, go for a run. If you're traumatized today, I mean this kindly, go for a run. You'll feel better after. I'm telling you, whatever's going on, go and do positive things. And if you can't do it, there's no shame in that. Get some help, get some support and help from professionals who can help you. Speak to someone who does understand how to help you, and don't talk to people that are ignorant, who don't understand. So get around people that are gonna heal your trauma effectively, and they're not going to add to your trauma. Be intelligent, have boundaries, you know, that's important for people. When I'm struggling with stuff, and I go through many struggles too, I listen to people that have overcome it or can help me, and I disregard listening to people that are toxic, negative, or they're going to come at me with nastiness. I just don't waste my time. And that's how you live a better life. That's where, again, discipline comes in, boundaries, treating people how you want to be treated, but not taking crap from anyone. No, I don't do those videos anymore. Moved on from that, but thanks for your question. I teach this now. My teaching's boring, but I like it. I teach clients how to get up early, have a shower, have a routine, go to the gym, spend time with positive people, eat a healthier diet, do a job that they love. You're welcome, Zach. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming on. We're going to finish up soon now, because I've reached the hour mark, and there's other people here at the coffee shop, so I'm going to respect their privacy. But good, I wanted to get an hour done, and we're perfectly on time. It's a shame, because I would have liked to do more, but an hour would be good enough for today. So that was a lesson today, guys and girls. That's how you be honest about your triggers and then face them. All right, appreciate it. Let's 30 more seconds and then we'll go. I've got to get it on the 60-minute mark. If anyone is interested in mentorship, I do mentorship. I do it online. If you need mentorship, help and support, help you move forward in your life, I also do mentorship in person. My email address is below. You can send me an email there. If you're committed and I can help you, I will mentor you on a program. Thanks for all of you coming on the stream today. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to appreciate all of you that are going to watch this later on. And I already can't wait to do the next live stream. I might go live later on if I've got time later on this evening. I'm going to try and fit time in and do another live stream later on. If any of you are on later on this evening, you can come on and join. Any questions you've got, let me know for future video streams. Good luck. Keep going one day at a time. All right. Have a great day, all of you. Bye.